Heyo, and welcome back to Wonderlands gamers. Today I have 5 more must-have legendary weapons to have at Chaos 35, because I know gun builds kind of struggle town at the moment. Enemies have way too much health, not too many viable weapons, but these 5 are definitely worth your time. Starting off with the Ruby Spite. This pistol, I don't know about you guys, I just never gave it the time of day. I picked it up originally, saw it shot 3 projectiles, inaccurate. 2-shot burst, super slow, seemed really annoying. I put it down and never gave it the time of day. Turns out it's actually extremely good. It has 2 firing modes because it's a dual pistol. Always use the second firing mode when it's more zoomed in and then just hip fire it, because apparently for some reason that gives it a wild amount of extra damage. Don't know why, but that's a thing. And then also it starts off with that super slow and accurate firing mode, but once you get a kill, it doubles the fire rate and also all of the bullets home in on enemies like extremely well. You can shoot directly up in the air and it'll just find all the enemies in the Chaos Chamber and obliterate them. You don't even have to see them in the Chaos Chamber. If you just stand on the sacred ground, shoot up in the air, it will find them. It doesn't go through walls, but as long as, you know, there's a clear line of sight from above you in the sky to the enemy, it's gonna get them. The red text for this one reads Death Fulfillment, which I don't know the reference to. If you guys do know, let me know in the comment section, and other people as well. If you guys would like to get one of these for yourselves, it is in the world drop system, meaning you can get it extremely easy from the Chaos Chamber loot bunnies for the pistols, of course, or the dedicated loot source is Monstrous Shroom. And it is actually pretty easy to farm because it only drops in dark magic elements, so you don't have to try and roll the correct element that you want, because there's only one. Next, we have the Throwable Hole SMG, which just got buffed on Thursday's hotfix with the rest of the SMGs, but this one got buffed by 41%, so it's now a really good weapon at Chaos 35 for actually any build, but particularly anything that boosts dark magic damage. For example, a Greyborn build will do really well because this weapon is locked to being dark magic, but it's still really good on a regular gun build. It's the one I was testing it out on today. So this one is a Tedior El Ferrero, how you pronounce it in this game. You Tedior chuck it on the ground and it'll leave a giant dark magic circle, which does AoE damage to a bunch of different enemies. It also brings them in and can sometimes like ragdoll them around the place. So one, knocking them so they stop shooting you, but also does damage. Then if you throw another Tedior chuck on the same spot, that circle doubles in size, and that like size got increased by 91% as of the hotfix as well. So it's now a huge area of effect, and it's really, really strong. The red text for the Throwable Hole reads, what happens if I throw a throwable hole into a portable hole? Which I don't know if it's actually a reference or just a joke by the fact that it's called a Throwable Hole. Let me know if you guys do know the reference. So if you guys want to get yourselves one of these, for some reason it's not only not in the world drop system, it doesn't have a dedicated drop either for some very unknown lame reason, but you can get it from the Chaos Chamber, so just hit up the Chaos Chamber loot bunnies and you will eventually get one. It wasn't too difficult. I hit this on the hotfix night and got quite a few of them, so you shouldn't struggle too badly. Plus it is only a dark magic lock weapon, so again, you don't have to keep farming for a bunch of random different elements. It shouldn't be too difficult. Our third must-have legendary weapon today is the Queen's Cry pistol, which is by far the most highly requested item for me to put into my must-have legendary videos from the previous ones, because every spell shot man is like, oh my god, this is the greatest legendary of all time, how's it on your video, what are you doing? It's because I didn't really get it. I hadn't played spell shot yet. Turns out this pistol shoots its original projectiles, which are pretty good. Then it also has meteors that drop down on the enemy that you shot, dealing a ton of damage, which scale off spell damage. So every spell shot main is like, oh my god, it's cracked, because you guys have cracked spell damage scaling. Every other character was kind of like, yeah, it's pretty good, but it wasn't insane. Now this thing has been buffed even more. I think it got like a 20-30% buff a couple weeks back in the patch or hotfix, and is now incredibly good on all characters. And then spell shot, it's just even more nasty. So if you guys haven't used it on any other character, definitely give it a go. It is now up there with top 5 bare minimum top 10 best legendaries or best guns in the game in general. And if you're spell shot, it's like top 3. Like, what are you doing? You need to try this weapon out. It's fantastic. Now, if you guys would like to get yourselves one of these beautiful weapons, you can get it from the dedicated drop source being the Maker. Or instead, to save yourself a bunch of time and not go through the hassle of doing that, you could just get it from the world drop system. So from like the Chaos Chamber bunnies, pretty easy source, or just any boss because it's in the world drop system. This thing is only a cryo-locked weapon, which does make it a little bit easier to farm, but if you guys want the better roll, it can roll with a ×2 or a ×1. The ×2 is considerably better, and I would highly recommend you guys getting it because it is just better, I guess. The red text reads, our enemies will come for us, which I again Have no idea what that means. Let me know if you guys do know the reference in the comment section down below. And our fourth legendary weapon today is another SMG known as the Wizard's Pipe, which got buffed with the rest of the SMGs on Thursday as well. This time by a thick 57.5%. It is now a very good weapon as well. This one comes in all elemental types, but comes with a really cool ability. Its original projectiles shoot like regular bullets, that doing the elemental type of the weapon itself, and then it also shoots out an orb every once in a while. I'd say every 3 to 4 bullets, something like that. And that orb not only does damage, but it changes elements depending on what enemy you're currently aiming at. So if you're aiming at somebody that has a corrosive weak health bar, it'll switch it to the poison or corrosive, whatever you want to call it, element, hitting them for that elemental damage. If you're versing a skeleton which has a cryo weak health bar, it'll switch to cryo regardless of what element the weapon rolled as. So being more efficient regardless of what element you actually got your weapon drop in, which is pretty cool. I do also want to mention the damage card that you actually saw on screen is kind of low. From the other Wizard's Pipes I've seen other people show off as they've been newly buffed, are well over 300. I've seen some up to like 380, I'm pretty sure. And all 3 of my volatile Wizard's Pipes are just below 300. So I think I just have a really trashy roll, which is still good because it's still doing a ton of damage, but just letting you know that you can get a better roll than what I have, doing more damage than what you're seeing in the gameplay. Also on top of that, the magazine size is huge for this SMG. 60 bullets without any magazine size buffs. I think mine goes up to like 96 because I have a few buffs as well. So you're pretty much shooting this thing forever, which is really, really cool. On top of that, the red text, go back to the abyss. No idea what that means. Let me know if you guys do know what that one is in the comment section down below. But if you guys would like to get yourselves one of these, you can get it from multiple different places. The world drop system is one of them. For example, the Chaos Chamber bunnies will drop it pretty frequently. Or the dedicated drop source is actually pretty easy. It's the Parasite boss at the end of Tangle Drift, which has no immunity phases, a pretty close drop in from the news station, and a pretty easy farm if you guys want to farm yourselves one of these from the dedicated drop. And for our final spot, I'm actually going to put 2 different legendaries in there because I have spoken about both of them in separate videos, but depending on which ones you guys have seen. The first one is the Liquid Cooling, probably the most popular legendary in the entire game because it was the best legendary when the game came out, and it was in my original must-have legendaries video. Then they nerfed it into the absolute ground. It was very mediocre after that, but as of a couple of weeks ago in the hotfix, they actually buffed it back up by a very 8%. Turns out that 8% was capped. They accidentally buffed it by about 50% and is now one of the best items in the game. Not quite as ridiculous like it's the, one and only weapon everybody uses kind of vibe, but it is still definitely up there top 5 best weapons in the entire game for any build. So feel free to pick up that one again. You can get it from the world drop system like the Chaos Chamber bunnies, or the dedicated drop spot is Lycia. How do you pronounce that? She is a snake coiled enemy. It is an obelisk boss, so I'd recommend just going for it in the world drop system. The second one is actually probably the best gun in the game. It's definitely got an argument for it at least. The Sword Splosion is a Torga shotgun and is absolutely ridiculous. It used to be trash at the start of the game, then they buffed it a couple of weeks ago. Now has a crazy fire rate. The projectile speed is way better, and it can also drop with a different grip, which allows it to roll as a ×3 rather than just a ×1. The ×3 variant uses more ammo, but of course dumps more damage into the enemy way faster. Using the sticky mode, like all good Torg shotguns do, does way more damage per stuck projectiles, 30% per sword, stacks up real quick, and you just melt everything in the entire game. The problem is it is very difficult to get the perfect roll, but honestly any roll of the Torg Explosion is really, really good. You can get them from the world drop system, being, the Chaos Chamber bunnies, etc. But also the dedicated drop is extremely easy to fight, being Lechance, found in Warg-Tooth Shellers if you want to take him on. The absolute perfect role if you guys are interested in farming one of the rarest items in a Borderlands game, and also one of the best items in a Borderlands game, is a ×3 cryo primordial. Even a volatile is not only extremely good, extremely rare as well. I made a separate video just on that. I'll link it on screen if you are interested. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe. We also have a Discord and a Twitch community. You're welcome to check out those. Other than that, gamers, have a fantastic day. Catch you guys next time. Adios.